Hey everyone, it's Matt aka Tech Ranger, and today we're going to take another look at 5 mods for your next Fallout 4 game. And this is going to be the last video in the series that I put together, 3 parts. I'll have a playlist linked above so you can go and watch all of them if you haven't watched them all already. For those of you new here, this is a series where we look at several mods for your next Fallout 4 playthrough, and this can range from graphics, gameplay, UI stuff, quality of life stuff, but this particular video is actually going to be all about gameplay and quality of life improvements that you can make to Fallout 4 with just 5 mods. Now, this doesn't include like every aspect of quality of life mods, gameplay mods, but we are going to look at a few, and I think these are some of the best that I've come across, and I'm excited to share them with you, some of which you actually probably seen before in other mod videos. Here we're going to take a look at those and maybe show you some new ones. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to stick around, relax, and let's get into the mods. The Pip-Boy, the main user interface of Fallout 4, and how we manage our inventory and pretty much everything about our character. You can change the color of it as far as just like a flat color, but it changes the color of everything in it. But what if there was a like 2-tone option, maybe like a white and a blue or white and a yellow? Well, this mod, Pip-Boy Dual-colors, does that. And it actually has 4 different kinds of color combinations you can actually do, and they're pretty nice looking. My favorite is probably the orange Mojave, but you'll see that there's 2 that have kind of more solid colors, and then there's another couple that have kind of like a lighter like pastel color with like that white. Now, another thing to mention with these mods is that it does include a version of the mini map markers, so that version that I suggested in the first part of this video series, you're going to want to remove to be able to use with this mod. Snipers in Fallout 4 are one of the most important things because there are a lot of distances, long distances, where you maybe are assaulting like a stronghold or something and you have to zoom in. And the scope is nothing to write home about. I mean, it's your standard sniper scope. But what if you could actually have one that you could see through and you can actually see around the scope when you are firing? This one is see-through scopes, and you can actually craft the holotape at the chemistry bench like you can with most armors and things like that you install as a mod. And there's a lot of different options in here. There's an auto perspective, which will switch from third to first person. Then there's a blur that you can create around the scope. This one's just a little bit more of a visual glitch for the third person perspective, which it's not really a glitch per se, but it's just kind of like if you're in third person and go to aim down a scope, you're actually going to have to go into first person first, then it zooms into the scope. And if you don't like that, you can always turn the auto perspective off. Overall, I really like this mod, and there's combat scopes that are added into the game that you can actually add to your respective snipers that will work with this mod, but I've also found that there are a few other scopes that can work with this as well. So download it, check it out, see what you think. I think it can be pretty helpful when running around the map in first person, because you can actually see your surroundings as well as what you're seeing through the scope, and I think that's pretty important, especially if you have a pack of ghouls right on you. When I first came across this mod, I wasn't really sure why it was so useful, but it actually makes sense, because if you look at the world and you go through and you see all this loot and you see a weapon on the ground that you're like, oh man, that'd be cool if I could just grab that instead of having to go in my inventory, see what it looks like, and see if I want to equip it, and then I've wasted 5-10 minutes because I'm comparing what I had to what I just picked up. take and equip or use is basically giving you the ability to pick up a weapon and just immediately equip it off the ground. And this actually works with food, any item in the game that's a consumable, or any weapons you happen to come across. Now there are a ton of options, including some optional animations that you can include if you see like food items or stim pack, and you can choose whether or not, if you hit the use prompt, if you want to actually go into that animation, or if you just don't want any animation, then you can just immediately use it, which is pretty great. If you see a stim pack laying somewhere, grab it real quick, use it, don't have to go in the animation. It's pretty nice. Those pesky locks get you down when you see one of those master locks and you just can't do anything to it if you don't have the perks associated with it. What if you could just like shoot the lock off? Well, you can do that with Locky Luke's Lucky You. It is a mouthful, I had to practice saying that. But this mod allows you to basically shoot locks, it allows you to blow locks up, it allows you to kick down doors. You can actually shoot locks all day, but it will take you multiple attempts sometimes and may not be the best way all the time. Now, if you want to kick down doors, you're going to need strength, and that is something that you can make up for in power armor. It doesn't really matter what, I don't think, if your power armor is super strong or not, as long as you have it, so it adds to your overall strength. You will be able to kick down doors, and when it happens, instead of kicking through it, it'll just like unlock itself, and then you have to open it yourself. You can also use explosives to actually blow the lock, and that's a little less cinematic, maybe versus kicking down a door or shooting a lock, but you will actually need a lot of demolitions experience, or at least thorough point into the demolition expert tree, because that will help on top of you having to have an explosive and an adhesive to actually attach to the lock. This mod does remove that requirement of needing to be like a master level of picking a lock, so that's pretty great, but your experience with this mod and how it works with different locks will vary. You will be able to get in using these methods. Getting that one-shot kill on a robot or an NPC, it's the best thing, because then you don't have to go through this bullet sponge gunfight with whoever you're fighting. Now with this mod, Wasteland Ballistics, it actually adds ballistics to all the weapons, but then also makes it easier on the player, because when you get higher up in level, the enemies get a lot more spongier, so it's a lot harder to actually take them out without going through like 200 rounds of your weapon. This is something that I've been messing around with and testing out for the last month or so, and I think it's gonna be in my load order for a while. I would suggest doing this on a new playthrough just to make sure that you have Wasteland Ballistics in all its glory, because it's a really cool mod that makes combat a little bit more fun and enjoyable, rather than just unloading loads and loads of ammo into enemies and that not really doing anything. Now this particular save you guys have seen on the channel already, and I added Wasteland Ballistics to this and haven't had any issues so far over about a month of play. I put this kind of towards the top with the gameplay mods, and I'll have another load order video coming in the future, but just so you guys know, I did add this to an existing save, but like I say, I think it's better if you install it on a new save rather than adding it to an existing save, but it worked for me, so it might work for you too. And that is going to do it for mods for your next Fallout 4 game, this series. I put a playlist together and I will have that linked below, and I actually had it linked at the beginning of the video as well, so if you guys haven't seen the first two parts, definitely go check that out. Been watching the channel all along, you've seen them all, so you know what's up. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you staying till the end if you did, and if you have any comments, don't hesitate to put those down below. Any questions, you just want to talk about the mods, let's say maybe you're using some of them and you just want to say, hey, thank you for showcasing a mod that I'm already using and it's pretty great, and you just want to talk about it, put them in the comments. I love reading all that stuff and I love interacting with everybody. Feel free to do that. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching and have an awesome rest of your day. Bye.